there, how you doing? So we're still here in San Diego and we're on lockdown. What that means is recreational boating is not allowed in San Diego Bay. The only exception to that is if we wanted to leave to go to another port, which as much as we'd love to do that, unfortunately we're just not going to do it until things are more open and safe regarding COVID-19. So we've been keeping busy doing other stuff, maintaining the boat and getting out, exploring.
Yeah, we also like to go rock climbing, so we went out to El Cajon for an afternoon, and we're going to show you that now. Enjoy.
So this is the mountain that we're going to be climbing. It's El Cajon Mountain, commonly known as El Cap, not to be confused with the El Cap in Northern California, which is really famous, but this is a different El Cap, and it's in the Cuyamaca Mountains in East San Diego County. And here we've arrived at the base of the crag, and the first step is to put our climbing harnesses on, and that's what you can see me doing. As a safety measure, we need to make sure that it is doubled back so it doesn't come undone. This is a personal anchor, which can be used to anchor into one of the bolts on the mountain. And it's always a good idea to wear a helmet in case any bits of rock come falling, or if a climber above drops a piece of gear. This is a chalk bag, the same type of chalk that gymnasts use. It's helpful for sweaty hands so that you can get a good grip on the rock. And these are specialized shoes for climbing. Next step is to flake the rope. So you'll see I'm going to tie a barrel knot as a stopper knot, and then just flake it on the ground. This ensures that the rope runs smoothly through the belay device. It doesn't get kinked up, and it ensures that there's no knots in the rope. And after flaking the line, I'm gonna tie in, meaning I'm gonna tie the climbing rope to my harness. So that's a figure 8 knot, and then I'm passing the rope into my harness, and now I'm finishing off the climbing knot called a double figure 8. And just checking to make sure that I tied the knot correctly. This is a belay device called a gree-gree. That's what Dara is going to be using to belay me as I climb. and she secures that to her harness using a locking carabiner. And I'm now doing a safety check to make sure that the rope is fed through the belay device correctly and that it's locked to her harness. And here I am, finally climbing. This is an anchor, which we use when we reach the top of a pitch to belay the climber down below so that they can climb and meet us up at that point on the crag. So when building a climbing anchor, it's always a good idea to follow the acronym SERENE. So the S in SERENE stands for strong, meaning that all of the pieces that are used for building the climbing anchor and in climbing in general should be rated for the loads and weights that are expected while climbing. Equalized. So we don't want the weight to be unevenly distributed on any particular piece or part of the system. The weight should be evenly distributed, equalized. Redundant. We want it so that if any one component of the system fails, the whole system won't fail. That's why if you look back a few seconds in this video, you'll see that the anchor had 2 bolts and 2 locking carabiners that the rope was passing through. This way, if either one of the bolts fails, the rest of the system still stays intact. If one of the locking carabiners that the climbing rope is going through fails, the rest of the system stays intact. That's redundancy. Efficient. Want a nice, quick, easy, and effective anchor. And lastly, no extension, meaning we don't want any slack in the system, because if the system were to fail, that slack would cause there to be what's called a shock load on that part of the system, which puts additional unnecessary stress and can further increase the chances of the whole system failing. Alright, now back to the gorgeous scenery that we passed after climbing on the way back to the car. So we're just hiking back to the car after climbing, and there's just these wonderful wildflowers and sage and other herbs along the trail that we're hiking. Totally wild, pretty awesome. So we're bringing some back
home with us.